Okay. I'm Rob Sparks. I'm at the National Optical Astronomy Observatory. I'm a colleague of Connie Walker, who many of you probably know. First of all, before we get going here, how many of you are familiar with Globe at Night? Oh, great, almost everyone. How many of you took a data point during the last 2 weeks and submitted it for Globe at Night? Oh, good number, but not quite as many. We'll get the rest of you on our next campaign. Globe at Night started several years ago. Started as a local project, and then I think I'm going to get his name wrong here. His last name, Dan, is it Blarton? If I remember correctly? Frank Blarton. Okay, I thought it was Dan, but he, as the one who actually worked with Connie to get this thing on the web and take this local project global, so to speak, which is a great thing for Globe to do, is take something global, right? Okay, I thought it was a good pun. Okay. Anyway, Globe at Night is mainly talking about light pollution and how it affects astronomical research, which is a big deal for us at Kitt Peak, but it has a lot of other effects as well. It has energy, safety, and security implications. A lot of studies are showing various effects on human health as well as on wildlife. The sea turtles are a very famous example, of course, but we're actually Connie's doing a study in Tucson now on how it affects the migration, the feeding pattern of bats, of a certain species of bat in Tucson. And there's all kinds of other animals that have effects from light pollution as well. Globe at Night is a citizen science project where we encourage people to go out and record the brightness of their night sky with the visual measurements. They can look at the constellation of Orion and compare what they see to a series of charts. And the chart magnitude 7 chart shows lots of stars, like you see under very dark sky. Magnitude 1, only a couple stars, and they sort of match up. And that's their data. They submit it online, and we make these resulting maps of the worldwide maps of light pollution. Over the last 6 years, the 2-week Globe at Night campaign, we've got over 60,000 measurements from over 100 countries. So it is a worldwide project, and we get lots of tens of thousands of data points per year. Globe at Night, there's actually 2 ways to participate. The first one I just described is the visual observation of the constellation of Orion. Although this year we're doing a second campaign. In the second campaign, we've had to add other constellations because Orion goes down too early. So in the second campaign, we're using Leo for the northern hemisphere, and the constellation, which you probably haven't heard of, called Crux in the southern hemisphere, unless you've actually been down there and observed. But people in the southern hemisphere know that constellation, of course. Then we have the digital meters as well. These actually record the brightness of the night sky using a digital photo sensor, and that, of course, gives you a much more precise measurement of the night sky brightness. When we've distributed hundreds of these around the country for the last couple of years as well, so people can submit that information as well from the sky quality meters. Several things have changed this year I want to call your attention to. First of all, we're much more in the social media biz now. Globe at Night is on Facebook and Twitter, and they're getting a lot of attention. They've got lots of followers, and they're putting up lots of great posts. If you want to see a collection of stories from around the country that have been published about Globe at Night in various papers and magazines, definitely go there and check out the Facebook and Twitter feeds. And this year, there's a web application. Instead of just going to the website, you can actually use a little app on your mobile. Actually, it's a mobile website. It's not a true web app. There's a mobile website that you can go to submit your data. It'll actually input your GPS coordinates and time and date of the observation for you, so you don't have to look those up. More monthly campaigns. We've got 2 campaigns this year. The first one just finished a few days ago. Next one's coming up on March 22nd. And we have an online video we're working on of the Dark Skies Rangers activities to help teachers use those with their students, and we're finishing that up right now. So the videos have been recorded, and they're in the process of being edited. And we're working on some user-friendly analysis tools on the Globe at Night website to make it easier to interact with the data and to analyze the data online. This sort of things on the Globe at Night website. There's directions on how to participate in the citizen science program, 5 steps. Background information on key concept. There's some interactive games, including my favorite at the bottom there, that little applet where you can see the constellation Orion. You can change your latitude and change the brightness, see how it look under different types of skies. There's some quizzes you can take to check the proficiency in terms of the vocabulary and concepts. There's 16 different languages. The teacher and family guide's up to 16 languages now. Postcards and flyers, even in Spanish as well now. The report page, and then we have the map page with the data in all kinds of different formats, which I'll show you there in a few minutes as well. So when you actually take the data, there's 3 ways you can submit it now. You can either use your cell phone. It also was compatible with tablets, such as the iPad or the Zoom or the Galaxy Tab. And of course, you can go back to your computer and use a traditional desktop or laptop computer as well. On the next slide, it's going to be a close-up of the data form, and it looks pretty much the same whether you use the laptop laptop or desktop computer, a tablet, or the cell phone. The difference, of course, is if you use a cell phone with a GPS coordinate, it'll automatically find you on the map. And if it gets your location just a little bit off and you're not quite there, you can actually drag that marker around to be exactly where you are if your cell phone GPS isn't 100% accurate. So you just have to fill in, you click this, and this is sort of neat here. When you click this guy here, if you click magnitude 5, that will change in real time to show you what the sky would look like under magnitude 5, so it's very easy to compare and see which one was the closest to your actual sky. So it's a really neat little web app. The data sets I mentioned a minute ago, they're available for download in a whole bunch of different formats. Google Earth, they can be examined with Google Earth and other tools. They can be used for basic research in a classroom or even taken to your local elected officials to encourage better nighttime lighting ordinances. You can see it comes in text files, Excel files, CVS files, shape files, Esri, Google Maps, all kinds of fun files, formats you can download that in. And of course, the data goes back all the way to 2006. You can download all the data. It usually takes a couple weeks after the end of the second campaign to get all the data online in downloadable format. They do a little cleaning of the data, make sure it's all valid data before they put it up. Once you get the data on there, you can do comparisons of data over time. Is it certain areas getting darker or lighter? Look for trends. Comparison to data on population density. For instance, you can take a Google Maps population density and overlay the light pollution. Compare those. You can look for dark sky oases, little places in the city where maybe it's a little bit darker, maybe a nice park or something. Monitor ordinance compliance. That's big in Tucson, of course, since there are lots of dark sky ordinances there. Look at the effect of light pollution on animals or plants. Like I said, Connie's doing a nice study with the bats now in Tucson. Effects on human health. They can be used to correlate, look for a cluster of effects on human health. And of course, effects on safety, security, energy consumption, etc. All different things you can use the data to explore. Now, we've also been working very hard on this Dark Skies Rangers program, which is a whole series of activities that that students can do to learn about light pollution. And there's sort of a list there on the right. We have the light shielding demo, which many of you have seen already, I'm sure. There's a school outdoor lighting audit where students go around and look at their school and find out how well it's lit and how they could save energy. A student symposium where students hold a little symposium on light pollution. They interview local officials and biologists and other people who are interested in the issue. The Protector, there's a wonderful turtle hatching activity which helps illustrate the effect of light pollution on sea turtles. There's another one which shows the effect on insects as well. The magnitude reader lets students get the concept of magnitudes across and limiting magnitude in a very neat little fun way. Finding Leo Orion, I think there's a slide on that coming up. And finally, of course, the Star Hunt campaign, Globe at Night. There's the light shielding demo, which shows how the difference between bad lighting on the right and good lighting on the left, shielded versus unshielded lighting. That's a very nice demonstration I'm sure many of you have seen. And I'm actually going to be at the Share-a-thon on Friday morning. I'll have this all this equipment there if you haven't seen it. The NSTA Space Science Share-a-thon Friday at 12:30, I believe. I'd have to look up the room. And that demonstration also shows the three main types of light pollution very nicely. Light trespass, light where you don't want it. Glare, a big blinding bulb that makes it difficult to see. How many can see there's a stop sign there? Yeah, I thought so. But if you have that backlight there, that makes it very hard to see signs like that. And of course, the one astronomers are concerned about, sky glow. The lighting audit, as I mentioned a minute ago, they actually characterize different lights. They use diffraction grating and spectroscopes to examine different types of lights, such as LED lights, incandescent lights, CFLs, neon lights. And then they actually can take that knowledge and look at different types of lights around their school and figure out how much energy each uses and evaluate the energy efficiency of the building and possibly even provide some better solutions for when they remodel and replace the outdoor lights. So to light responsibly, we want to shine the light down, not up. After all, that doesn't do much good to shine it up. See the effect, not the source. You don't want to see the bare bulb. That causes glare. You want to make sure you light only where and when it's needed. You don't have light going on all night if it's not needed to be lit up at night. Don't overlight. Overlighting can actually decrease safety as well as energy efficiency. And of course, you want to use the most energy efficient source you can to light responsibly. So here's another one of those. This is the Constellation at Your Fingertips activity. Then this is actually in the red folders that you have a little transparency with it. I think they can't use the constellation Leo or Orion in here. But you basically, is it Orion? It's Leo. Good, it's Leo. But you trace the constellation Leo with that glow-in-the-dark puffy paint, and you put the leave the circles empty, and when you hold it up at about arm's length, one star from Leo fills each of those little circles. So it's a pretty neat little thing there. The magnitude reader one, students use some inkjet transparency material and make a little thing where they look through different holes, and look through one hole, the bright stars will show, but if they look through other holes, the dimmer stars will show, and they can actually use it to measure the brightness of stars in the night sky. And those are both highlighted in the Dark Skies Education Kit, and I think I have one sitting down here, correct, in front? What I said, yes, right down there is one of them. And it contains it contains a disc with all the activities, as well as the light shielding demo, the book, There Once Was a Night Full of Stars, the postcards, a couple of CDs and DVDs, Quiet Skies activity, where we actually talk about radio frequency interference, which is light pollution to radio astronomers, basically, and a sky quality meter, which I talked about earlier, where you can actually use that digital meter to measure the brightness of the night sky. So February 21st to March 6th was the first campaign. March 22nd to April 4th is the northern campaign. March 24th to April 6th is the campaign for the southern hemisphere. And I'll leave as an exercise to you guys to figure out why we chose different dates for northern and southern hemisphere. If you actually map out where the moon is in the different hemisphere at that time, it's the inclination of the moon rising and everything, or setting and everything, does make it a couple days better in the different hemisphere. So just to give you a quick highlight of what we've got so far, this is just from the last 2 weeks. We've got data from 90 countries already this year, which is excellent. There's about 8,000 observations submitted. As I last looked, it was like 79-15, I think. But we're still accepting observations from the first campaign until March 15th, so it might be over 8,000 by now. 57% are from the United States, but the other top countries are Canada, Poland, India, the Czech Republic, Japan, and Germany. And the second campaign is March 22nd to April 4th in the Northern Hemisphere and March 24th to April 6th in the Southern Hemisphere. And for those of you that didn't submit data already, we hope to have you submit data for the next one. There's some pictures of some of our wonderful students that we've worked with over the years, enjoying some of the Globe at Night activities. And I'd like to, actually one more thing before I do the close here, I do want to say we also, one other thing, social media, which should have been that social slide about new things, we've done a lot of podcasts for the 365 Days of Astronomy podcast on Globe at Night and light pollution. The most recent one just aired on March 7th, which was just a few days ago. 365daysofastronomy.org. You can download it for free, or you can subscribe to it on iTunes. We're having a lot of fun making these with our hero, the Dark Skies Crusader, sort of a comic book style hero who's going around and helping people fight light pollution around the world. We've done 3 episodes with him now, so I encourage you all to go and look up 365 Days of Astronomy and listen to those. They're short. They're about 10 minutes each, ballpark. So here's some websites of interest. Our darkskiesawareness.org/darkskiesrangers is where all the Dark Sky Rangers programs are. You can get to that through globeatnight.org. There's a link from there to the Dark Skies Rangers program. Our Facebook and Twitter, you can just search for Globe at Night on either of those, and they'll pop right up. globeatnight.org/webapp will get you to our mobile site that we could use to download. And globeatnight.org/Tucson is where we're actually working on our Adopt a Street program for the local people in Tucson. Of course, as I said, Connie Walker is our main contact for this. And I'd like just to thank all our sponsoring institutions, NOAO, Globe, ESRI, the International Dark Sky Association, the Galileo Teacher Training Program, and CADIAS, our partner in Chile. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to try and answer them at this time. Yes, they are working on switching the website over from the Orion information to the Leo information right now, so that is in process. So it will be ready definitely by the time the next campaign starts. Thanks for that question. Good question.
I live in New Haven, Connecticut. It's incredibly polluted as far as light goes. In fact, you can see maybe a couple of planets and very few, if any, stars. So I suppose that would be good to know, right?
Definitely, yeah. We have actually had people that with our Adopt a Street program too, so I'm trying to get people to literally just go down a street every mile or so and take data so we can actually cover the city in a big grid. And this is the first year we've tried it, but we're looking to expand that to more cities next year. So that might be, if you're interested in taking up the ball on that one.
I would be.
That'd be great.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Well, thank you, Rob. We really appreciate you coming. All right. So also we want to say thank you to all of you out here that have been participating in Globe at Night so far, and everyone that's online that's tuning in to us, because we've had a lot of data